Our fire coverage continues with a tragic update in Lane County. Sheriff's deputies confirm a death from the Holiday Farm fire. A person found inside a home in the town of Vida. The medical examiner is working on identification. That fire has burned more than 156,000 acres. Tonight, one of Oregon's largest wildfires is slowly pushing toward Estacada. Right now, it's about half a mile from town. Kyle Boshi is in Molalla, which has also been evacuated. Kyle?
Laura, two major issues here, really. One, the fire danger, thousands of people forced to evacuate. You look around the strip mall, you can see it's just deserted. The other thing is the air quality. It is horrible. All day long, we've been seeing and smelling this smoke, this ash, this soot. It's left a blanket on many cars just like that one. You look at that and you can see what we're dealing with. We headed into town earlier today to take a closer look. The town of Molalla in rural Clackamas County has largely been abandoned. Normally busy streets empty, neighborhoods quiet. Nearly 9,000 people forced to evacuate, leaving behind empty homes and property.
But it's just creepy quiet now. You know, everybody's just, there's nobody here.
Neighbors had only minutes to pack up Thursday after officials ordered level 3 evacuations, meaning residents should flee immediately.
We're just grabbing the last of the things and going to get out of Dodge before the wind changes.
Paul Varenkamp and his wife came back briefly on Friday to pick up some valuables and their boat.
We're heading out now.
Okay.
Guess that'll be our final time until they open it all back up for us.
Nearly 200 firefighters are battling the Riverside fire burning southeast of Estacada on the Mount Hood National Forest. Despite the highest evacuation orders, meaning go now, some people are staying behind in these small rural communities like Estacada, Colton, and Molalla.
It has a long ways to go for it, to me. And we got several routes out of town, so I'm not worried about traffic jams.
Milo Wignall's biggest concern right now is all the ash and soot on his driveway and in the air.
It's been dark around here. It's sort of like a full eclipse.
A thick coating of ash has blanketed Molalla. Air conditions are nasty.
Really hard on the throat, the nose. Wake up in the morning, your nose hurts.
This small rural community looks like a ghost town, but residents hope it will soon come back to life when the fire danger passes and they're able to return to their homes. ODOT has set up some roadblocks to keep people from going into town. Also today we've seen Molalla Police, also Oregon State Police out patrolling. As for those evacuees, many of them staying with friends and family, also some evacuation centers set up a little bit closer to town. Back to you.
We're hoping and praying they can get back to their homes soon. Thank you, Kyle Boshi, live in Molalla for us. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Matt, the smoke is still really bad, not just where Kyle was, but really everywhere. You can't get away from it. But you have encouraging news about weather conditions.
I do. We're going to talk about the smoke first, though, Laura, because, you know, up until today, it had been confined to the east side of the state. Even Hood River and Mount Hood had pretty good, really sunshine, a nice day yesterday. That's no longer the case. Look at this video from Pendleton. So the smoke has spread into northeast Oregon. Connie Maycumber sending us this video from Pendleton. You can see how thick it is there. The air quality in Pendleton, some of the worst, not only in Oregon, some of the worst in the world. And I'll show you that air quality index in just a minute. But again, really thick smoke making it through the gorge. Now, here's that list. And these are major cities, okay? And Portland tops the list worldwide for major cities, followed by Seattle, San Francisco, Vancouver, BC. So there you go. It's the Cascadia thing and extending down into California. Then a couple of cities in, Dubai and then Kuwait City, because it's summer and they're in the desert and they have a lot of dust. And then LA is number 7 on the list too. And you can see where the red is over the West Coast, and the heart of that red zone is right over Oregon, where we have all our fires going. But let's drill down a little more into the list. And if you do that, you see the most polluted city rankings in the United States. They're all in Oregon, except for Walla Walla. That's number 4 on the list. But Pendleton is number 6 on the list, followed by Sisters. First is up in the Cascades, very close to the fires, place called North Fork. So again, really bad air quality, and that's borne out by our air quality index stations here in Oregon as well. But here is the big picture for you. Smoky, yes, through the weekend. We're getting some improvement at the coast. We could see a little bit in the valley, but basically smoky. But the increasing humidity and the light winds are really helping to make the fire behavior much more predictable and not as erratic and extreme. And then the rain Monday night and Tuesday will go a long way towards helping settle this thing down. We'll talk more about this. This smoke is extending hundreds, even thousands of miles out to sea. We'll talk more about that later on, Laurel. Back to you.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Matt. And while Matt was talking about the weather helping out a bit, the battle is far from over. And already so many people are dealing with what's left behind. Pat Doris looks at the painful destruction.
From the air, we get an infrared view of the enormous Riverside fire bearing down on Estacada. The FLIR company sent its newest camera up Thursday and Friday to help firefighters see through the thick smoke. As expected, they found widespread heat and fire. They shot this video around 1 o'clock Thursday over the Clackamas River, the monster blaze still growing in strength and size. But in some areas, the embers have cooled, and now the numbing scope of the catastrophe is clear. In the tiny town of Talent between Medford and Ashland, the destruction staggers the mind. Talent had a population of 6,000. The Oregonian reports as many as 600 homes here are destroyed, heaps of scorched metal. Stunned homeowners have returned to try and take it in. Many look but cannot fully comprehend what's happened to their town and their lives. In nearby Phoenix, it's much the same. The Oregonian reports as many as 1,000 homes burned here. Governor Kate Brown promised to help the homeowners today, but said the reach of the fires is historic.
Well over 1 million acres of land has burned, which is over 1,500 square miles. Right now, our air quality ranks the worst in the world due to these fires.
While the weather is changing, and that will help, the danger is still here. Unheard of numbers of people are on the move or on alert.
More than 40,000 Oregonians have been evacuated, and approximately 500,000 Oregonians are currently in evacuation zones. That means 500,000 people are either at a level 1, 2, or 3 evacuation alert.
The massive Beachy Creek fire and Lions Head and Riverside cover 440,000 acres. They are so hot and have burned so far, it may take winter rains and snow to snuff out their flames. The good news is the howling winds have calmed and moist air is coming to the rescue next week. Fire bosses reported progress in several areas of the state, but thick smoke is still keeping aircraft down, leaving the battle on the ground. Governor Brown said she's asking for help across the country and personally spoke with President Trump last night.
He either was on Air Force One or getting onto Air Force One. I explained to him that the situation on the ground was extremely dire, that at that point in time we had roughly 40,000 Oregonians who had been evacuated. The extent of the fire damage, he said, you have all of our support. Please let us know what you need, and God bless Oregon.
The state got approval from FEMA for disaster aid on at least 15 of the fires and also for help with housing and other disaster relief supplies. The state is still finalizing the numbers of the missing, but it's not looking good.
As of now, there are early reports from our state police that there are dozens of missing persons related to the fires, specifically in Jackson, Lane, and Marion counties.
A recovery team from the Oregon National Guard will meet tomorrow to begin helping with the grim task of searching for those who did not make it. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.
And that's the sobering reality of these wildfires. And now we take you to the Oregon coast. The fire in Lincoln County did not grow overnight, but already 100 homes there are burned. The fire started Monday near the town of Otis. Some evacuation restrictions were lifted for Lincoln City today. We came across a man overlooking Devil's Lake trying to see if his home survived. Photos taken Tuesday show he'd lost a couple of outbuildings and some vehicles. The fire had come within feet of his home.
The people out in Otis and Rose Lodge, my understanding where the fire really came through, that I have more concern for those people. because they lost everything. I didn't lose everything. I still have my house.
The Forest Service says the Echo Mountain fire is still very active and not at all contained. A new look tonight at the fires burning along Highway 22. This is in Marion County. This video was taken Tuesday in Gates. It is just breathtaking. You can see so many buildings there burning. We don't have any official word on the extent of the damage. Roads in there are still closed, but these images show you it is just devastating. Christine Pitawanich spoke with a family from Gates, now focusing on recovery.
People living in the Santiam Canyon know it's going to take a long time to rebuild. And yes, it's still early. Fires are still burning. Areas are still under evacuation. But the people living in these communities are resilient. And already they've found ways to help one another. You may remember the Sharon family. Earlier this week, they, like many other families, discovered their home in Gates was gone. Oh my God, it's our house!
We were flooded with people contacting us, wanting to help, wanting to know what they could do.
Cindy, Sharon's niece in Texas, even started a GoFundMe for her family.
It made us feel really good. It was nice to have such support from the community.
But it also made them think about the countless others up and down the Santiam Canyon who also needed help. That's when she decided to do something about it.
I contacted a friend of mine. I told her, hey, I'm in my trailer. I don't have internet, but this is what I want to do. How can I make this happen?
She was hopeful and upbeat, and she says, I've got this idea, and I didn't know who to call, so I thought I'd call you, and you were on my mind, and this is how it all started. So I just basically got my notebook out and started taking notes.
And Dina Freire says just about 24 hours later,
the blessing of community, of small community, is that we all know each other really well.
They were able to set up the Santiam Canyon Wildfire Relief Fund through Santiam Hospital's service integration team known as SIT.
They are an established 501c3, and so it became really clear that we could swiftly set up a fund specific for fire relief.
The team already responds to needs in the community with representatives from many different agencies and community businesses. The idea is that the team at Santiam Hospital will be the go-between, vetting and connecting people in need with people who can give.
And we want to be a receptacle to manage all of those ideas and offers of support to make sure that they get matched up with effectively with those who need it most in the community in a fast way. We're pivoting the Santiam fire into Santiam resilience and how we're going to move forward.
If you want to do something for us, that's what we want you to do, so we can help others.
Cindy Sharon says it's not necessarily even about giving money. It's about giving anything you can to help these communities rebuild. Again, the name of the fund is the Santiam Canyon Wildfire Relief Fund. They're expecting that people will be able to donate online by tomorrow at santiamhospital.org. And by the way, Sharon says her first deposit is going to be the money that she got in her GoFundMe. We'll have more information on all this on our KGW website. In Staten, Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.
What a great example of Oregon's can-do spirit.